Imagine a home built nearly 2 centuries ago. No electricity, no insulation, no furnace. Yet, in the dead of winter, when the outside air freezes at a bone-chilling -40, its interior stays warm enough to live in comfortably. Sounds impossible, right? But in 1986, a team of researchers in Wisconsin measured exactly that. Inside a cabin built in 1847, with only a small wood fire burning, the temperature held at a steady 68 degrees Fahrenheit, while outside, the world was frozen solid. No central heating. No double-paned windows, fiberglass stuffed in the walls. Just wood, clay, moss. And knowledge that somehow made this cabin more thermally efficient than the majority of modern homes today. And that realization disturbed researchers. Because despite all our modern technology, foam insulation, triple glazed windows, computerized thermostats, our homes fail the moment the power goes out. Within hours, the temperature inside plummets. Pipes burst, air freezes, and families are left helpless under piles of blankets. Something is fundamentally wrong with the way we build. Somewhere along the line, we stopped building for survival and started building for convenience. So what did those early builders understand that we've forgotten? It turns out, everything about their design, every piece of wood, every joint, every bit of moss between the logs worked together in perfect harmony with the laws of physics. Their homes didn't just block the cold, they worked with nature to manage it. What they built wasn't primitive, it was genius. When you walk into a modern home in winter, you can feel the problem instantly. That faint draft near the windows, the furnace kicking on every few minutes, the uneven warmth hot near the ceiling, cold near the floor. Our buildings rely on constant energy input just to maintain balance. The second that energy stops, the whole system collapses. Modern construction has forgotten thermal mass, the ability of a material to absorb, store, and release heat slowly over time. Our homes are made of thin walls, hollow cavities, and lightweight materials that have almost no capacity to retain warmth. Think of our insulation as a thin windbreaker jacket. It blocks the breeze but offers no lasting heat. Medieval builders, on the other hand, built with thermal mass. Their homes were like thick wool coats, slow to heat up, but once warm, they radiated comfort for hours, even after the fire went out. And the secret begins in the forest. Medieval builders didn't just chop down any tree. They sought out old-growth pine and spruce trees that had grown slowly through decades of harsh winters. That slow growth made their wood incredibly dense, tightly packed with growth rings that gave each log enormous mass. A single 12-inch log from a tree like that could weigh nearly twice as much as modern lumber of the same size. That weight wasn't just a burden, it was stored energy waiting to happen. Dense wood can hold heat like a battery, releasing it gradually as the air cools. But thick logs alone weren't enough. The way they joined them was the real masterpiece. Instead of flat-cut boards nailed together, every log in a medieval cabin was individually shaped by hand to fit perfectly against the one below it. Builders used a method called scribe-fit joinery, tracing the contours of one log onto the next, then carving it until it sealed so tightly you couldn't slip a blade of grass through. It was painstaking work weeks to finish a single wall, but it created an airtight envelope without the need for foam or plastic barriers. As the logs naturally dried and settled over the years, their weight compressed the joints even tighter, closing any tiny gaps that remained. Modern air sealing materials degrade and crack over time. These old cabins, by contrast, became more airtight the older they got. Then came the final layer of brilliance, the chinking. Between each log, builders packed a mix of clay, animal hair, and something remarkable: sphagnum moss. It's a simple forest moss, but it has properties that make it nearly perfect for construction. When dried, its tiny cellular structure traps air, creating natural insulation close to the effectiveness of modern fiberglass. It's also acidic, meaning bacteria and insects can't live in it. It never fully dies, just goes dormant, ready to spring back to shape when compressed or moistened. It flexes as the logs expand and contract through the seasons, keeping the seal intact for centuries. In fact, some of those same moss-backed joints are still performing flawlessly hundreds of years later. The walls of these cabins were massive, 10, 12, even 16 inches thick. That thickness didn't just block wind. It slowed down the movement of heat itself. When the outer layer cooled at night, the inner layer still radiated warmth inward, creating what scientists call thermal lag. It could take 12 to 24 hours for the cold to pass completely through a wall that thick, which meant by the time the interior began to cool, the morning fire was already lit again. The cabin became a living systema, kind of thermal flywheel that never stopped spinning. This combination of airtight joinery, natural insulation, and dense materials created a structure that defied our expectations of what primitive means. These were homes designed not around luxury, but around survival, and yet they achieved a level of comfort we can barely replicate today, even with all our machinery. During a blizzard, families inside these log cabins stayed warm with just one fire a day. Even when the fire burned out, the walls themselves continued to radiate heat, keeping the air inside livable for days. Some remained above freezing for 72 hours with no new fire at all. And when we compare that to modern homes, the difference is staggering. Our houses, built from lightweight studs, gypsum, and vinyl, lose about 1 degree Fahrenheit per hour when the power fails in freezing weather. At -10, that rate doubles. Within 12 hours, the air inside drops to dangerous levels. Pipes burst. The air becomes painful to breathe. All the comfort we rely on disappears the instant our systems shut down. It's not just inefficiency, it's fragility. We've built an entire civilization of homes that can survive a single night without power. But medieval builders never had power to begin with, so they worked with nature's rules instead of trying to overpower them. Their homes weren't sealed tombs, they were breathing systems. Air moved in tiny, controlled ways. Moisture could escape without letting cold rush in. Every part of the design had a purpose. Nothing was decorative. Nothing was wasted. When you light a small fire inside such a cabin, the warmth doesn't just fill the air, it soaks into the walls, into the floor, into the masonry heater that anchors the heart of the home. Long after the flames die out, those materials continue to release that stored heat quietly, evenly, through the night. This was not magic. It was pure understanding. A balance between thermal physics and craftsmanship that made survival in brutal cold not just possible, but comfortable. And as strange as it sounds, the more you study these old techniques, the more you realize that what we call progress has often been a step backward. Before we continue, drop a comment below and tell me, how long would your home stay warm if the power went out during winter? Hours? A day? Maybe less. I'm curious to see how many of us actually live in homes that could survive what our ancestors once did without even trying. And if you're finding this investigation as fascinating as I am, make sure to subscribe to Prehistoric Medievals, because in the next part, we uncover the hidden heating system at the heart of these ancient cabins, a technology so efficient that a single 15-minute fire could keep an entire house warm for 24 hours. Thanks for watching.